Hey Void Dwellers. I'm a huge science fiction and fantasy fan, a proper geek from childhood, and it never left me. But there's one thing about every sci-fi and fantasy story I've ever read or watched that always bothered me. In all of them, the idea of a superior race or beings has always missed the mark, because they are always described as either technologically superior to us or creatures that have some physiological abilities that surpass our own. And that is false logic. Because the real thing that separates creatures, that indicates true levels of intelligence, is not technology or strange physiology, it's ideas and concepts. And it's not the writer's fault for getting it wrong. I mean, it's actually exactly my point. See, we as humans are forever trapped in what our ideas and concepts can be, and nothing more. And we have no way to advance beyond that. It's not something that we can learn. It is something that is derived from our brains. It's a biological absolute limit. Well, almost absolute. We'll get to that. But first, we need to better understand what exactly I mean. And to do so, you need to think of other more primitive creatures that are around us. For example, dogs. Dogs are awesome. They are our loyal friends. They love without condition, and we say about them that they are smart. Why? Because they can understand simple sounds and gestures, like names or commands, and can even understand the situation and jump into action when we are in danger. But a dog could never understand art. It could never understand poetry. It could never understand simple preschool level math. And I'm talking Count von Count level. 1, 2, 3 bones. I have 3 bones. They can't grasp that. And you can try and teach them, and perhaps you'll manage to make them memorize some things, like bark 3 times when I say the word 3, and they will, because you taught them that when they react in that way to that sound, they get a treat. But they don't understand the concept of 3. Which is why they can never come up with it on their own. And they can't come up with all the concepts that go along with it, like adding or subtracting. And of course, loftier ideas, like a painting. A dog would never understand. There will never be an original painting by a dog. Again, unless you teach it to move a brush randomly over a piece of paper in order to get treats. But that is just a Pavlovian response. It does not understand the concept. The point is, there are concepts that are beyond the understanding of a dog. The CPU simply doesn't have enough RAM for it. It doesn't have the program installed to analyze it. So just like there are creatures below our intelligence who absolutely cannot grasp concepts that come to us naturally, who you cannot teach those concepts no matter how much you try, so it stands to reason that there are concepts out there that are beyond us, that we don't understand and will never understand. And I can't stress this enough because people seem to have a lot of difficulty allowing themselves to get it. This is not about technology. This is not about one day we'll get it. No, we really won't. Just like the dog won't get art. It doesn't matter how much it tries. It is beyond it. And these concepts are beyond us, regardless of technology. And it is not unlikely that there are creatures out there who do grasp these concepts. And to us, their behavior would be strange to the point of completely unintelligible. Like if you are gathering your family members to show them a magic trick that you learned, and your dog is viewing you. It has absolutely no way of understanding that scene that is unfolding in front of its eyes. All it can gather is that the family is together and they seem to be safe and in a good mood and occupied with something weird. That's it. It has no concept of magic, performance, entertainment. None of these concepts can even penetrate. It has no explanation for your behavior and it just let it slide. Or imagine what it must think when it sees you doing yoga, or exercising, or dancing. It cannot understand the concept of moving to the rhythm of music. Indeed, it's very likely it cannot even hear the music the way that we hear it. We know that a certain part of the brain is responsible for us understanding music because we have documented cases of people who had that part in the brain damaged, and for them music became just noise, just a jumble of sounds. They can't make heads or tails of it. So the creatures that have concepts that we can't even perceive of would be to us as weird to your dog as you show your family members a magic trick. And that's why I said I don't really blame sci-fi and fantasy writers, because how can you write something like that? The only way would be to have creatures who do and say things which seem completely without context and go, well, we don't understand their motives. And that doesn't make for a good story now, does it? And there's another aspect of it. We humans are biologically programmed to believe that there could never be anyone above us. And I know that sounds counterintuitive or even contradictory to the evidence, because you may say, well, humans have created thousands of legends about gods and beings that are above us. And I would argue, no, we didn't. We created visions of ourselves and we gave them more power. But it is us. In some philosophies of religion, which came separated from the creation of the original myth, they may talk about mysterious ways, which is an attempt to communicate the idea of a being that works from a conceptual point of view we cannot even grasp. But most people rebel against that very idea. Mysterious ways sounds unacceptable to them, like an excuse. And I know you might think that atheists rebel against it, but no, it's theists as well. That's why it's important for them to paint God as good. Good and evil are human concepts. They are easy for us. They are natural for us. Also, if you read the Bible, God behaves in very human ways, and he actually describes himself in human terms. He is angry, he is jealous, he is hurt. And that's no different from the gods of Rome or Egypt or any other culture. Even if you put an eagle face on them or the body of a crocodile, you're still putting them in very human situations, and you're giving them very human ideas and motives, such as pride or jealousy or love. And we love to say about those ideas that they are eternal. Because for us, that means that we are eternal in some way, that we have a touch of eternity in us. It gives us the illusion of power in a universe in which we are an atom on a grain of sand on a beach the size of the galaxy. In modern times, we made our gods that look like humans into aliens or creatures with technological wonders. Like on the show The Orville, where in one episode they meet this creature that is supposed to be 50,000 years more advanced than humans in the 25th century. And of course they have amazing technology that looks like magic to us, but in the end, they still argue philosophical ideas with that creature. It is not more sophisticated from a concept and ideas point of view. It is still very human. Same with Rick and Morty. Rick refers to himself as God, and the show presents him as basically someone who can do whatever he wants just because he is so smart and has the best technology in the entire universe. But the person is still flawed and human. He is lonely, he makes mistakes, he takes revenge, he thinks in human terms, in human concepts, as does every single alien we see on the show. Rick is even taught lessons by his grandchildren. The God part is only technological, not in the sense of concepts and ideas. Or sometimes writers would just say that a character is ancient without even considering what that actually means, like Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, who is actually this immortal being from the very start of creation, and yet is very human in his behavior. A wise human, perhaps, but human. All of his actions can be understood by us. It's not just that we can't imagine anything beyond us, it's that we don't want to. Because if we accept that there is something beyond us, then we accept that we are not in fact the center of the universe, not the aim of creation, and not going to be here forever. Humans will become extinct eventually, and we will be viewed as a stepping stone on the way to something far superior to us. And not one of the good stones either. We won't be remembered. We would be for the future creatures like Homo habilis is for us, just some name that only those who are interested in fossils even know about. But I did say that our limitations are almost absolute. So there is a way that we may yet evolve. We could theoretically accelerate our brain's development or our species development by enhancing our thought processes with synthetic means, whether it's implants or some way of stimulating growth or whatever, or maybe just by making sure that smart people breed more and only with each other. But that is, of course, a very sticky subject that leads the stupid human creature to some very bad paths. But I'm just saying, if smart people only had kids with other smart people, we'd probably get a jump in our evolution, not to mention our technology, within a few generations. Of course, the huge majority of dumb people would probably hunt the smart ones to extinction, but hey, if they are that smart, they'll figure something out.